So we're here at Boyd Lake Campground. It's a state park, I think, in Colorado. It's only about 2 hours from Rocky Mountains where we were last night, but we needed some laundry done and showers and just a bit of a recoup day. And I just want to share one thing to think about when you're planning trails and hikes in the parks, and that is hitchhiking. So most trails are loops or out and backs, but there is the out and hitchhike back option, which allows you to get a lot further away from the car and see something new the whole way and not do an out and back. One thing that's kind of odd is my kids really dislike out and backs, and they couldn't explain to you why they dislike it, but they really dislike it. I think it's the idea of always seeing something new versus seeing the same thing again. But there's another thing about out and backs that's a little bit discouraging, and that is when you do an out and back, the fastest way back to the car always is turning around. Whereas when you do a loop, at some point you pass the halfway mark, and then it becomes better and faster and easier to finish the hike than to turn around. And the same is true with an out and hitchhike back. As soon as you get past the halfway point, assuming elevation changes are not too impactful to the hike, then it's always better to finish the hike. And we picked up a hitchhiker in Glacier who was hiking. He was from Italy, and he had hitchhiked like over 100 times in the last couple of weeks. It was a reminder that we had hitchhiked once in Sequoia. And in national parks, you know, people are kind of the same mindset. And so a lot of people who are willing maybe to not pick someone up normally are willing to pick someone up because they realize, you know, they've just hiked a bunch or something. So last night we finished the Sky Pond 10-mile out and back, and we got to the trailhead at about 9:30, 2 hours after the last shuttle goes from Bear Lake to Glacier Gorge, or excuse me, to the ride and share. We were at Glacier Gorge. And my wife went out to the road with our youngest son and held out her thumb, and the very first car that came by offered to pick us up, and like 12 of us piled into this minivan, and we had big laughs and just lots of gratitude and thanksgiving because we were cold and tired and ready to go home. And so it's just a great vibe, sense of community, sense of not friendship, but just sort of watching out for one another, I guess the Good Samaritan idea. And so I think hitchhiking is a very reliable method and technique in the national parks. It allows you to take slightly further hikes, and it allows you to rely on your fellow man a little bit, and also be the kind of person who also picks somebody up occasionally. My son is throwing a ninja star. Not even close. Anyway, consider hitchhiking so that you can do more interesting hikes. Consider loops and out and hitchhikes backs instead of out and backs, because you can motivate the kids a little bit further. And what I've seen in my children is a lot of their motivation on the trail is mental, even though of course it takes a physical toll. A lot of it's mental. And so if you tell them, you know, one more loop or one more waterfall or we're on our way back, it can do a lot to improve their morale. And the thumbnail for this video will be the picture that we got with the people who picked us up after laughing very hard and just exchanging a lot of fun stories on the way. So yeah, pick up a hitchhiker and maybe be a hitchhiker. Take care.